the great debate. Chatbots are better than real people is our topic. I would like to introduce you to your moderator for the great debate, Queen Kathryn of Conference.
Thank you so much, Dame Joho of the Smoke. Yes, and welcome, my loyal subjects. So, this evening, and in closing this lovely conference, we have a very interesting issue to resolve. I have noted that throughout the Empire, this question is on everyone's lips. People are polarised on this subject. So it was time to sort it out. So the word was put out across the kingdom to seek nobles and warriors and knights of the realm to come and debate this serious question. From east to west of the kingdom, and even as far as the realm of Oceania. So we have sourced these wonderful knights, these worthy humans, to come and make this great debate. So now, all of you should have a voting card. Is this right? If anyone does not, there's a worthy person down the back who has voting cards. So yes, just put up your hand, you'll get a voting card. I'll explain how they work in a moment. So we have the blue team, which is the affirmative. So they will be arguing that, yes, indeed, chatbots are better than real people. Right, is this correct? This is true? You accept this challenge? Yes, marvellous. And we have on the other side the red team, which is the negative. So they are arguing that chatbots are not better than real people. And indeed, you're arguing with your monarch now. Do you accept the challenge, sir? Okay. Fine. Okay, so these people you have seen around the conference, so I won't go into great detail of introducing them because you know their faces, you have seen them. Come up and chat to them afterwards, and yes, and have a good drink afterwards as well. So how this works, we will have a debate. So the lead for each team, the affirmative going first, will give an opening statement, up to 3 minutes. And then we have 3 rounds. So each team puts forward their case. And after each round, you get to vote about what you think, whether the chatbots are indeed not better than real people, or they are. So let's see if we can do this. You would have come in with an assumption. So let me show, put your cards up and say what you think. Is it the blue or the red?
You can get out.
So Tristan. Yes. So I think the red was actually winning there. So that's very interesting. So anyway, so the votes will go on. What also will be happening is that I will be awarding points and demerits. So there will be points for interesting use of props. There are props to be used. So round 1 has a skipping rope. There we go, in evidence. Round 2 has a wooden spoon. Right. And round 3 has an alarm clock. So they will get points for creative uses of the props. And they will also get demerits if they run over time. So each of the rounds has 3 minutes to speak. They will be getting a bell at 2 minutes. And then at 3 minutes, they get the horn. And then if they're very rowdy, they will get demerits and multiple horns. So, to that. So, then after the 3rd round, one of the speakers from either side will then close the arguments. Then I will announce who the royal debater is based on the number of points they have received. And then we all get to do the major vote, and we will decide for the world and the Empire what the truth of this statement is. Does that sound like a worthy thing to do for an afternoon? Yay! All right, well, I will set this game off and going. So I will invite the lead for the blue affirmative team, Michelle, to step up to the lectern and begin her opening statements.
Hi, hello.
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 Is this the service desk?
No.
This is 131517, isn't it?
No. 18.
Jeez, this is like the 4th time I've tried to get some support here. Unbelievable.
You tried tighter pants.
Useless. You've got a chatbot. Wait a moment, it's a chatbot. Hey, I think this could actually help provide me with the sort of service that I actually require. No need for your assistance, thank you.
Do you feel this? Do you see it going on? Is it part of your life? Listen, I'm here to tell you that chatbots are the best. They make business sense. It's all about good business. And before you tell me that good business isn't just about money and profit, businesses need to be successful. And if that's the kind of thing we're dealing with, that's not great. To be successful, we need productivity and we need to generate profit. Productivity means getting things done. The customer needs to make sure that things are happening and that we're generating profit, and all of that speaks for itself. It just makes good business. For goodness sake, all we've been talking about for the conference is the 4th industrial revolution, and we still believe that the best option is to deploy our intelligent people into an environment like this. For goodness sake. Let's face it, if a business needs to be productive, you need to lower your overheads, and in the digital age, the business success needs us to do the same things but much more differently. That's what everybody's been talking to you about, for goodness sake.
Oh, there you go. Very nicely done. So now I will invite Sir Tristan to come up and respond with his opening statement.
I'm going to take this hat off because I have quite a large noggin. But before I start my opening statement, we've got a bottle of wine.
Oh,
You might want one.
Oh, lovely.
Great and gracious leader.
oh, oyster bag, how delightful.
And suppose you guys need something. It's just the local. I was looking for something that had been strained through a camel. Was the closest I could find. So, yeah, fourth revolution, all that kind of stuff. But everything that I'm hearing is we still need people. Chatbots, yes, chatbots they have their uses, but does that make them actually better than people? I think the question we need to be asking is better at what? Yeah, they're better at some things, but humans have a much wider range of skills and abilities that we can use. Actually, they also might be better than some of the people that I've met in the past, but I'll ignore that. Yeah, so I'm splitting hairs here, but we really do need to acknowledge that while they're better at some things, as I said, people can do more and do it in various different ways, which obviously makes them better. I think chatbots are getting better, but they're not as strong or resilient as people. They might be better at some things, but it depends on your definition of better, and I've heard it already today. Better's not necessarily cheaper, and that's the thing that drives so much of what we do. We all know that cheap's good. Yeah, we've never made any mistakes by trying to make something cheaper. People can do the boring, repetitive jobs and the more complex and depth things. Yeah, you want to get rid of as much of that, the boring, repetitive work as you can. But if you get rid of too much, what are you going to get the ginger kid to do? We'll talk about language capabilities, about bots not being quite ready yet. You can have conversations with bots, sure, but it's kind of like talking to my dog. He knows I'm talking. He hears the words, but he's got no idea what the hell I'm talking about. You can ask bots 100 questions and get 100 answers, but context is going to be completely lost. They're only as good as the information in their databases, all of these kind of things that, in 10, 15 years, who knows what they're going to look like, but they sure as shit not as good as people now. I've had several poor experiences, that typical, we hear that, oh, you've got a bot, we'll contact your bot. You talk to the bot, you get 8 different answers, or no answers, so you don't get an answer. You still just go on Google and get straight to the website of the FAQ. If an FAQ is better than a bot, we've got a real effort. And I think what I might do here is just let Siri have the last word. Hey Siri, are you better than a real person?
Sorry,
you know.
Yeah, you did go over time, so that's 5 demerits to you. However, you also gave me a lovely bottle of wine.
I won't take it back.
So you can have 10 for that. So lovely. Okay, so now, the affirmative team will now commence with round 1, and with the prop of the skipping rope, which has already been put into to action. But, yes. So, and who are you providing for your first speaker? It will be you, sir? Very well. Approach the podium.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brad, and I think you can all agree with me and my team that nobody wants to be the wooden spoon of service delivery. Thank you.
You do realise that was the wrong prop.
Yeah, it does. That's the merits.
It's bad enough having to support a football team called the Carlton Football Club that's won 6 wooden spoons out of the last 10 seasons. At least there's something more that we can do within our own organisations and within our own communities. There's something called lean, which a lot of us happen to know a lot about. Perhaps some of this table would know far more about lean than I would. And one member in particular has taught me a lot about lean, particularly the concept of the lowest qualified person to do the work, so that we can reduce non-utilised talent. Why? It's because the worst thing in any organisation is to manage and lead a bored, unmotivated, miserable staff who are simply waiting for the next job or a redundancy payer. You can only motivate the eager. Get your staff off the service desk. Give them some sunlight to grow into roles that they love, and your staff will love you back and your customers back as a result. Not a single chatbot in the history of information technology has ever complained about being unmotivated. Gartner says over 90% of service desk calls have been done before. We might hear a bit more about this later. Free your staff from the repetition and see them grow. This is your social and corporate responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that was all very interesting. So now we have the response from the negative team, and it would appear to be Lady Rachel. So come on up, Lady Rachel.
Thank you, Queen Kathryn. So I'm just going to start my argument with a little role play around what a typical interaction with the bot sounds like. Hi, I'm Shazza, your friendly chatbot. How can I help?
Hi, Shazza. I'm Tristan. I want to know what the weather is like in Brizzy in August.
You want to know whether you should go to Brisbane in August, is that right?
No. I want to know what the average temperature is in Brizzy in August.
The temperature in Brisbane in August averages between 6 degrees minimum and 22 degrees maximum.
What's 6 degrees in Fahrenheit?
Processing. I don't have any info on 6 degrees. Maybe you need a different bot.
I'm really happy I didn't ask if it was warm enough to paint the deck.
Okay, in the interest of time, I'll crack on. So in the research that I did when I was preparing for this debate, I came across a survey that said 73% of customers would never use a chatbot again after one bad experience. Does that resonate with you guys? We've all had that bad experience? Yeah, so I guess my point here is that credibility is really hard to earn, and you do that, through good service and you work hard for it, and a bad chatbot experience can really erode that credibility. So in that aspect, then clearly they're not better than humans. Our argument is not that chatbots don't have their place, and certainly we recognise that they will get better. But at this stage, they leave a lot to be desired. Chatbots themselves are typically, ready?
1 minute.
Just glorified flowcharts, with a if and then type scenario. So, they find it very difficult, or in fact impossible at this moment, to replicate natural language, which is complex, as we know. So they can't deal with slang, and they can't deal with Kiwi accents, they can't deal with double meanings. So having that natural interaction is very difficult, as we've all experienced. And they don't have a sense of humour either. They can't account for randomness. I have memories of my kids giving Siri a really hard time on their iPad, saying, "Siri, please call me Doo-Doo Head," or "Siri, why is Tom so dumb?" And of course, chatbots can't foresee everything. And I think, as you were saying this morning, April, that that it's about knowledge management, and you can only feed so much knowledge into it. And certainly people only have so much knowledge as well. But we can respond when we don't have an answer in a much more graceful and interactive way. Oh, you didn't even get to my rebuttal. So I've run out of time, so I might have to just skip this.
Tantrums, indeed. I think that might be a few demerits there, dear. Yes, indeed. I'm taking note of that. Right. Okay, so that was round 1. So I don't suppose that may have swayed people's decisions one way or the other, I'm not sure. But let us use our voting cards now. Who won that round, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, that would appear to be the red team. Yes! Oh, well done. Okay, so yes, and Rachel leading that particular thing gets 10 points for that. You got 10 points there. Okay, so now we're proceeding into round 2. And I would remind you that the prop for round 2 is the wooden spoon. So please use the appropriate prop. And I will now just fetch the skipping rope because it is a tripping hazard. And as seen previously, strange items left lying around could be a bomb, as we were told by Rose earlier today. So I don't know if she's still here. You still here, Rose? Rose, you out there? So anyway, so no bomb, no tripping hazard. So, okay, so I go back to the affirmative team and say, who is your second speaker? It will be Michelle. Please approach. And
Okay, looks like I'm going to have to spoon feed you, so here we go. I'm going to reiterate some of my previous points because some of you weren't listening. And I think it's really important that we understand this is about a digital age. I talked about it before. These guys gave me examples of how their children, for goodness sake, are using the technology and enjoying it. And these are the people of our future. It's about productivity, it's about lowering overheads in your business, it's about making sure we do things in a different way. Look at the stories of organisations who've failed to do that correctly. You've probably seen the Blockbusters and the Kodaks and the Nokias who disappeared by failing to respond to the way our world is changing and the way our consumers want to interact with their service providers. So we really need to embrace it. It's about successful business, but it's also about happy employees. For goodness sake, why do we want to deploy our intelligent, sensible people out to do mundane tasks that chatbots can do for us far more effectively? So it's about making sure that we don't have them constantly trussed to a desk and they get the opportunity to utilise skills that they might not do if they were having to serve in a service desk, answering the same calls day in, day out. It's a morale issue. Okay, and if people are our number one priority, we need to think about making sure that we look after them. Chatbots save you time. Who wants to sit, as we did before, and sit and wait for somebody to answer your telephone call when you can get a response quickly and accurately? And chatbots ultimately will save you money. They're cheaper than hiring people. And surprise, surprise, much, much better as well, because guess what? They don't go off sick, they don't need coffee breaks, and in the most part, they don't get injured. In the most part. So I would suggest to you in the digital age, where business success absolutely relies on doing things differently, what we have to do is make sure that we recognise that difference is important, and if our people are purportedly our number one importance factor, what we need to do is make sure they're happy. When our employees are happy, because they're not doing mundane tasks, our customers are happy. And who the hell would want to deploy our staff into the monotony of service desk existence, because ultimately that's what's going to happen to them. Just eat it up.
Thank you, very nice and succinct, and you were actually ahead of time, so I'll give you a few points for that, dear. Okay, so moving on, we now have the right of rebuttal from the negative team. So now, Sir Tristan, who is going to be the second speaker? Oh, Sir Tristan, come up.
Thank you, Mummy.
Let me find the bell. There we go.
I think if our esteemed colleagues hadn't completely misinterpreted the question, this would be a much more robust debate. But the question isn't, are chatbots useful for the crap we don't want to do? It's, are they better than people? And they're just not. What I'm going to focus on here is the soft, the nice, the touchy-feely, not the creepy touchy-feely, the nice touchy-feely stuff that people can do that chatbots absolutely can't. And how can something that can do some of what we do better, but not other things, be better than humans? It's a fundamentally flawed argument. And as for the using the chatbots to enjoy using the chatbots, perhaps the children are just enjoying each other. Again, I'll leave that alone. People like personal service. We're actually just wired up that way. There's a survey done recently by, I think it was a group's CSG out of the UK, who found that basically people still want. I think it was about half. Still half the people won't go to a chatbot as a first reaction because they want that personal service. They want to be able to have that personal interaction, or actually potentially just to actually be rude to somebody. I think the key is to augment, not replace, and that's the real key. There's a whole lot of stuff. This is where I need the spoon. A whole lot of stuff that bots can't do. You can't get a hug from a chatbot. Not a emotionally satisfying one anyway. You can't make a chatbot cry to make yourself feel better about yourself. And the personal one for me is, I can't get a chatbot to spank me in that special way that I like. Oh yeah. That's the stuff. They're just not better, wasn't it? So Kelly's session this morning, I think, really summed up a whole lot of things. We're talking about here the future skills that we need. And if you look at them, curiosity, imagination, intuition, creativity, empathy, emotional and social intelligence, and that sounds like exactly the things that bots have. No. People are still always going to be more important. Bots can work on the known issues, and we then free up the people to do the more in-depth, the problem solving, those kind of things. And I think that's absolutely a given fact, but it doesn't make the bots better. People are always going to be able to be more creative, I think is what I'm saying here. And if 2/3 of the skills are going to be, sort of soft skills in the future, we need, organisms, don't want to use the term mean sacks, organisms that actually are capable of exerting soft skills. It's all about customer service. It's service. Bots are great at the outputs. People are great at the service. Thank you.
I think you deserve a couple of points for creative use of props.
Some soothing cream.
I actually think you should take this dinner. No, came from the Royal Scullery and I don't think I want it back. So, yes, well, thank you, sir. Yes, so I also awarding points for tweetable quotes. So I think there was a couple in there, so you get 5 for that too. Yes, so that was the end of round 2. So, shall we do the voting again, ladies and gentlemen? Ooh, dear, me.
That's convincing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is red. The blue is increasing, I've noted. So yes, yes, you all need to pick up your game a little bit, I think. So yes, yes, that disturbed me a little bit, so Tristan. So, okay, so now we're moving on to round 3. Okay, so now, and the prop would be the alarm clock. So I now turn to the affirmative team, and Mr. Brad. So, Mr. Brad, yes, so Brad, come on up. Oh, good, 2 for 1.
Wake up. It's time, people. It's time. Who does not love their customer here? Sorry, who loves their customer here? Come on, with me, people. Who loves their customer here? Chatbots are better than people because their customers need choice. So let me start by telling you a story. It was a hot afternoon. I'd left work early. It was about 3 p.m. and I'm sitting on the Sydney train and it's baking. And then suddenly the train goes from empty to full. And it's full of school children. School's out. And I'm sitting there going, oh no, where's my noise cancelling headphones? And the train fills up and fills up and fills up and there's no more space left in the train, but it's silent. And I looked around, I thought these are remarkably well-behaved children, but they weren't. There was little giggles going on every now and then, and I looked down and they were all texting each other. Why do people text each other when they're standing face to face? Text is the original interface. The first time we invented computers, we got out MS-DOS, and text was the interface. Graphics came later. Our customers need choice. And this is one of the ways, one of the many ways that chatbots are far, far better than people. No. Not unless you're sharing the good stuff with me. You only left me with the...
So Tristan, behave yourself. 5 to merit.
So this was quickly followed up by another experience. I then got home and I was talking to my ISP. 30 minutes on hold, phone drops out. 30 minutes on hold! Then I get through to a person. But it's the wrong person. And then they introduce me to the next person, the next person. Hold on. What if these people had a chatbot? What if that chatbot could have collected all that information for me and presented it through? What if I had that choice? So ladies and gentlemen, love your customer and give your customer choice by giving them chatbots to talk to help the humans. Thank you.
Now, you're supposed to be worthy knights of the realm, you know. And all this drinking, I don't know, I think, yes, I think you all get to merits for that. Okay, so that was the affirmative, yes, talking for round 3 with the alarm clock. Good use of the clock, thank you. So you get some points for that too, sir. So now I will call upon our red team, the negative, to answer. So I'll just ring the bell for you, sir. Sir Duncan.
Thank you for all that, everyone. But I just wanted to reflect on something. If we look at this clock, we can see the face of the clock. And it's a simple thing. We're dancing around the simplicities of this. If we turn the clock around, we can see the complexity behind that simplicity. And I'm going to talk about that now, and I'm going to talk about the dark underbelly of our discussion. I'm going to point out the absurdity of this discussion. It is our assertion that it is an illogical, this statement above you is illogical, irrelevant, and unethical. So, illogical. We assert it as an intellectually weak statement. Edward Dammer, in his book Attacking Factual Reasoning, stated that a claim must have a reason to support it, otherwise it is merely an opinion. That is an opinion. It also must have evidence and witness. And in this technology, we are too early to demonstrate a witness to this statement. So it's a lazy statement. By what measure is this comparison? From whose perspective? So as an audience, I assert that you guys are too smart to fall for such a lazy intellectual statement. Not unlike this clock, which doesn't work. The statement just doesn't work. Irrelevant. I think this deflects from the true matter at hand from a human-centred design perspective. That is my trade. Matt Watkinson, and this disappoints me, Brad Schimmel, because I have given you this book to read. 10 Principles of Great Customer Service. They reflect identity, indulge the senses, they're socially engaging, and they consider emotions. So we can only give to bots that work that does not do that. We can only give them the work that does not generate emotion and is not socially engaging. So therefore, we should be removing that completely. What is the point of comparing stuff we need to get rid of? It's like saying, are cakes or biscuits better for my beep? So finally, it's ethically and morally bankrupt. IBM's ethical data guidelines argue that bots should make us better people, which make humans better. So to assert that they are better than humans is an immoral thing to do and an unethical thing to do. Just because we can have this discussion does not mean that we must. Just as we don't hang everyone who does a crime, even though it would save money in our prisons. So my argument is that even if it was a logical argument and intellectually sound, which it's not, and even if it was relevant, which it's not, it's immoral and morally bankrupt. So I just can't believe all the fantastic people I've met in this week that you would support the moral bankruptcy of those beside me.
Gracious me, right on time. So I'll give you some points for that, sir. That was very nice. So yes, so a +5 to Sir Duncan for being on time. And you also get a +5 for using the clock very well. Here you go, you can have the clock. Oh, please, sir. Behave. Yes, well, may he rest in peace. So we have had some very interesting arguments here this afternoon. So, and lots of lovely little points I have to add up and take away. And indeed, I've noted that the blue team are not wearing any of their hats, and yet the red team are. So I think that's points in that too. So anyway, so now I will ask the blue team, well actually we need to vote first, don't we? So yes, we need to vote. So ladies and gentlemen. Oh, goodness me. Yes, it's looking red. It's looking very red there. So yes, and who was mine? It was Duncan. So Duncan gets a +5 for that. You just won your round, sir. How lovely. Okay, so I will now throw over to the Lady Michelle, who will put through closing argument. And we have a little bit of time. If you wanted to take more than 3 minutes, I'm happy for you to do so. And I will ring the bell at 2 just to let you know how you're doing.
Okay. So indeed, I will take some time, but before I do, I just want to throw you over to a few of my friends here. These are my Bradbots. Okay? So I'll let them tell you a little bit about why they think that the bots are the best.
Lower cost.
Faster service.
Happier customers.
More data.
Bigger scale.
Happier staff.
Better experiences.
Happier team leaders.
More engagement.
Progress.
Economic advantage.
Productivity.
It's like something really bad, third-rate speaker.
Says the man who's been spanking himself with a implement.
Talk about moral bankruptcy.
Now, Knights of the Realm, do behave.
Okay, I mean, come on, let's get back to it. So Duncan of Statistics here wanted some facts. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you in facts very shortly. But before I do, I want to see how well you've been watching and listening. If I make a statement to you, we design the future, who knows where that's come from? Not you, Jan. Over at the back there.
We design the future.
I am the impartial moderator.
Here we go. Where's it come from?
Behind it.
Well, I'm hoping it's behind you, I'm hoping it's in front of you, all over the place, okay? So we want to make sure that you know all about this. It's not just a statement for this conference. I'm going to get my politician head on now, and I'm going to tell you this is absolutely a call to action for us as an industry. We're a country of just 25 million people. To be competitive, we have to apply our educated, passionate and talented workforce, and we have to work smarter. It is the competitive advantage of our country. You wanted facts? I'm going to give you some facts. It's the fourth industrial revolution, okay? It's all fueled by data and insight. That's all you've heard this week, for goodness sake. In 1969, a third of our workforce worked in agriculture. In 2019, only 3% do. And yet we've got 3 times more of the food production. What does that tell you? We have to adapt the way that we work. We have to drive economic productivity and become a smart country. History has shown us that we produce more, we get smarter, and the automation is absolutely key to this success and the revolution of IT and our business services. Chatbots are absolutely the way for Australian companies to take the world stage and really compete on cost, on staff, on customer satisfaction. Isn't that the Australia of the future that we're actually designing? It's all about automation and digitisation. So this, my friends, is a call to arms. Chatbots are the future.
Do behave. 5 demerits for each of you.
Sorry, Mummy.
I'm mom to you.
Sorry, Mommy.
So, now I will call upon the red team to do a closing argument. Right, the Lady Rachel. There you go, and as per before, I will ring the bell at 2 minutes, but if you want to take a little extra time, that's perfectly fine.
Thank you. I don't think I need more than 2 minutes to say, we just whooped their ass! So, these guys both stuck a note in front of me while Michelle was speaking, saying, how does anything that they're saying make bots better? So, I guess I get Michelle's argument, and she's very articulate, and she's a pretty cool chick, but I don't think it really addresses the statement at hand. We're all service management boffins, so we understand how important adding value and customer experience is. It's the bottom line of what we do day in, day out. And I would argue, and our team would argue, that chatbots as they stand add very little value, and the customer experience is pretty shite. So we've still got a long way to go. And I would just like to finish with a little quote that, is this your work, or did you steal it from someone?
No, that's at
The quote.
Yeah, no.
I thought he thought of this. If bots are so great, why aren't they doing this debate?
Almost like a person's being though, Brett.
No, you've all had your opportunities for speaking, and there was language in there, young lady.
Oh, really?
Just shite. It was a very disturbing trend in this conference. Yes, I've been doing my numbers here.
How comes I've heard the F-bomb drop this conference?
Well, indeed. That's no excuse. So, I've been looking at the numbers here. There's been lots of demerits and lots of, pluses for tweetable comments and good use of props and various other things, but you've also been a little bit rowdy. and the use of alcohol, I don't quite approve. So let me see. So working down the list here, yes, there is, well, yes, we'll start from the bottom, shall we? On a grand sum of -5, we have Brad Schimmel. Yes, and let's see, the next place up, yes, well, you would have been higher except for the swearing there. 5 points for the lovely Rachel. Okay, and next up the list we have, let's see, what do we have? Oh yes, Brad, 10. Okay, so now we have, let's see, who's left here? Yes, we have Tristan and Duncan and Michelle. So yes, and yes, Michelle is on a lovely 15. And Tristan went up and down and up and down and up and down. Yes, indeed. And perhaps that was deserved. Or maybe the rest of his team should have spanked him. But yes, 20 points for Sir Tristan. But the clear winner of the Royal Debater Award goes to Duncan. 25 points. So yes, so excellent work, Sir Duncan. So yes, you are now appointed to the Royal Court as Royal Debater. Yes, lovely. Okay. So now the people need to speak. The people need to vote. So you have heard worthy arguments from both the blue team as the affirmative and the red team as the negative, as chatbots are better than real people.
Not competitive.
Okay then. So let us, without further ado, decide for the realm. What is the answer to this question?
Come on, boys.
No one wants to change their minds?
No, they don't.
What do you mean?
I don't like you anymore.
No, that's very naughty. That's one of your followers, so that's another demerit. So clearly the Reds have won. So chatbots are not better than real people. So you can take that home to your households and tell everyone that that was the decision made today, and it has the royal approval. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and dear knights of the realm.
Thank you, Elaine.
Yes, okay, I'm done.
Oh, well, wasn't that a hoot? Thank you, Queen Kathryn of Conference, and all the great debaters, including the Bradbots, for the lasting memories you have just created and the mental imagery now burnt into our collective retinas. With that, our conference is coming to a close. We hope that you have had some great experiences, that you have met some great folk, and have some ideas and or insights to take back to your workplaces. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of the service management community, for being ready, willing and able to take time out of your work lives to be here with your community. Can you all please stand up? Let's give ourselves an incredibly big round of applause for being the leaders, the influencers, the movers and shakers of service management.